Wa salam, salam, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Black News Network. First, though, hair. Black people have the most unique hair in the country, in the world. If you noticed, our hair is naturally curly and basically pointed towards the sun. White people hair is basically straight and pointed towards the ground. So, what is it about hair that we should think about? Our hair is like Samson's hair. When they cut his hair, he had no strength. But when he grew his hair back, you couldn't touch him. He was strong as anybody. But before, what I'd like to do is just start talking about why we should vote. This is the Black News Network, the real voice of Black USA, broadcasting live on this Wednesday afternoon at 6:30 p.m. We broadcast as well on Sunday at 3:30 p.m. I ask you to please come to this channel, review the topics that we talk about, and like us or subscribe to us on our YouTube channel, BNN 247 or BNN.247. Your comments, your subscription would be very pleased. I mean, it don't cost a thing. For you to do that would just definitely elate my heart and anybody else that's associated with this network. We are broadcasting today from the desk of the Emissary, and we want to touch two things. We want to talk about the Voting Rights Act of 1965 as well as the Civil Rights Act, the 15th Amendment, my bad. Those two things, were very, very important. And it was done because of the least enfranchised people, a certain kind of people in America, were not allowed to go to the voting booth. They were not even allowed to register. Now, many people have died for you today to have the right to vote. There have been so many people killed because we wanted to vote. It's unfreaking believable. I don't know all three of them names, but Cheney, they were down on Freedom Summer and they killed those three people. Two white folks really and a black, and they buried them in the levee down there in Mississippi levee. They were down there to register people to vote, and they didn't live to go back home. So here we are in 2024, a mile away from 1965, and nobody is stopping you or me to register to vote. For some reason, you choose to think your vote is not important. Then why so many people gave their lives to establish the voting process for you? And it was only done for you, the black man and the black woman. Now a lot of people will tell you that the 15th Amendment was written for the white women so they can vote too. All I'm saying is, when you look at what has happened to our people just for registering to vote, and nowadays you got people running around just begging y'all to register to vote. What the fuck? Why people got to beg you to register to vote? What's wrong with you? People died for you to have this right, and now you going to shit on it? The 15th Amendment, Section 1. The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude. What that basically say to me, everybody got the right to vote. But you and I know better. Back then in the 1900s or the 1970, 1950, 1940, our people were getting killed because they were so determined to get you registered to vote. And they gave their lives. You know, the one that I would like to talk about is my mentor. I don't know him personally, but I know his brother. Medgar Evers. Medgar Evers was the king of voter registration in Mississippi. He registered thousands of people to vote, Black people to vote in Mississippi, in the midst of his life being threatened every single day. And one day it caught up to him. While he was pulling in his driveway, some white cowards hid in the bushes and took a shot at Medgar Evers with a high-powered rifle and killed him right there in his driveway. He had put probably 1 foot, maybe both feet out of the car, grabbed his briefcase, and the next thing you know, bam, in the back. Somebody shot that man, and legend has it, it wasn't the man that got prosecuted, Beckwith. It was Beckwith's son. It was his son. His son never spent a day in jail. His daddy went to jail for him. That is the alleged rumor right now, and it's been for years, that the son did the shooting and the daddy did the time. So many things have happened that make us look inferior. There was no way they were going to treat a Black man equal to a white man. Not in Mississippi, and it's still a challenging problem right now today for a Black man to have the courage and the fortitude to stand up to a white man. And all this is surrounding giving you the privilege that you have earned by being a person here in the U.S. I don't want to say a U.S. citizen, because there's something you have to do to be a citizen. And if you haven't done that, then there's almost no avenue for you to take to be a citizen. Now, I want you to pay attention to one thing that they said in the 15th Amendment, Section 1. The citizen of the United States shall have the right to vote, or should not be denied or abridged by the United States or by a state. Now, in other amendments, other rulings by the Supreme Court, it'll tell you that the federal government can put out the law. This is the law. And implement those laws into the states. However, a state, individuals in a state does not have to, they're not obligated to follow the law sent down by the federal government. So the federal government stated this. It said, no individual is obligated to perform the duties of our laws if they choose not to, and there's nothing we're going to do about it. It is a state problem to do something about it. So, as black people were getting beat up, killed, and given the literacy tests, trying to register to vote, the federal government come out with this, but they couldn't do anything about the state doing what they wanted to do about black people voting. Now, it gets to a point at times where the National Guard has to come in to make things happen, but people, the white Southern people, play it up to the line just before they send them in. And by that time, hundreds of black people have been killed behind trying to register to vote. And if you came to all the white folks sitting around the voting place, voting registration place, so they see every black person coming up to vote or register to vote. Then when you go in to register to vote, they want to mess with you. They want to do you any way they want to and ask you any question they want to. They can have a bucket of jelly beans sitting on the counter and they would say to you, how many jelly beans are in that jar? This is your test. And you don't know how many jelly beans in that damn jar. Well, that's some bullshit if I ever heard it, but they do that. They did that to us and they call us dumb. They call us lazy. But you and I know we are not the lazy ones and we are not the dumb ones. We have more inventions and we built more shit than anybody in the US of A. Now, I'm saying the US of A, but many of us have said that there's only one United States. There's no corporation. We don't have but one. So let's stop that bullshit about having two. So I'm going to give you the proof, the final proof, and the absolute truth. And you won't need to hear this from nobody else after I tell you this. Say the Pledge of Allegiance with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic. Who's the republic? I pledge allegiance to the United States and to the republic. Those are your two entities. Those are your two entities. You have the corporation. The United States is the corporation. The republic is the state, the people. The United States of America is the republic. The Republic of the United States of America. They don't put that in there, the Republic of the United States of America. There's your two. You should have no doubt about it now, because you grew up saying the Pledge of Allegiance in your class before class got started every day you went to school. They may not do it now, but every day I went to school, I had to say it. So I know it. But I never, ever thought that there were two entities involved in the Pledge of Allegiance, but there are two. Today is the 7th, one day after the Voting Rights Act was signed into law. So the Voting Rights Act was based off the 15th Amendment. It was an act to enforce the 15th Amendment of the Constitution. It was signed into law 95 years after the amendment, the 15th Amendment, was ratified. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 looked at obstacles to vote, including poll tax, literary tests, and the bureaucracy restrictions to deny black people the right to vote. Obstacles to vote. White men sitting on the porch watching you go in to register to vote, and that night they come out in the white sheets and they terrorize your family and they may kill somebody, and there's nothing that the government will do about it, especially the federal government. Now, you think about this. You got the federal government sitting up there on their damn throne, and then you got the state governments. But the federal government tells the state governments, hey, you got to abide by the Voters' Right Act. But the state tells the federal government, we ain't got to do shit. They can tell them that. And then the individuals that come together that told the federal, or that can tell the federal government that they ain't got to do shit, can branch out as individuals and do what the fuck they want to do. The federal government will not try and pursue an individual unless it's a situation where the federal crime has been committed. And then if it's against a black person, they don't really care. And you wonder why we get our asses stomped and shot and fucked off by the police, and they go to another police department and go right back to work. It happens because nobody took the time to tell you that you have to take the oath of amnesty to become a true citizen in America. And you got to realize that just because they tell you you're a citizen in the 14th Amendment, it also tells you that you have to do something, and that's take the oath of amnesty. And if you don't take that oath, you'll never be a true citizen in America. And there are levels to this game. And it is a game. It's a bureaucracy game. They take every living thing that they can and put it in front of you as a black person. And you're expected to maneuver around and through all these obstacles. Obstacles to vote, poll tax, literacy testing, bureaucracy restrictions to deny black people to vote. Now, all this stuff was prevalent, and we still registered to vote, even though our family members died. We may have died. I'm talking about ancestors when I say we. Somebody died to get us this privilege. And we look at it like it don't mean nothing. It means a hell of a lot to go down to the county and get your little voter registration card. Even if you don't vote, register to vote. You think they already know everything they need to know about you. You signed over on your birth certificate. So technically, the state owns you, because the only way they don't own you is if you authenticate your birth certificate, basically telling the state, I don't need a straw man in between me and my country. You eliminate the straw man. So if they want to deal, they have to deal with you personally. But you don't want to hear that either. You know, all this information comes out because it's so important to me and it's important to you that you hear what I'm telling you. Civics in America, in the black community, is lacking. They don't teach it in school. They don't want to teach it in school. They don't teach it in school because they don't want you smart enough to know how to deal with politics. It's very, very important that you understand why they passed the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Very important. They did it for you. And you know, other people benefited from it along with black people, like white women. Fuck all that. You ain't here to judge them. You're here to satisfy yourself in what the country has allowed you to do. Now, this is where we go wrong. Don't we think we can come up with our own shit and fight the system. We cannot come up with our own shit and fight this system of government in America. We can't do it. So how do you beat the government then? You have to learn the law. If you're going to drive on the highway, you have to learn the law. If you're going to run for office, you have to know the law. If you've been charged with a crime, you have to know the law in order to get away from that crime. Many of us don't do crime, but we get charged anyway of some bullshit that they come up with. And now we got to go to court and waste our damn time defending ourselves saying, hey, we didn't do that. But you cannot do any of that if you don't know the law. For instance, you have your residence. You have a domicile. Don't get that mixed up either. They treat you with so many words. These words in America mean some bullshit on one side and some good shit on the other side. Domicile and residence are two different things. Domicile and residence are two different things. So when they say, what is your residence? You don't have a residence. You have a domicile, because a residence is a temporary establishment, a temporary place to cover your head in case it's raining. It's not your home. Your domicile is a permanent place to sleep and eat and shower and do all that stuff. Your domicile. So don't let anyone tell you or ask you, what is your residence? Because you don't have one. Your residence can be right there in that office where you're sitting at, or in that shop where you at. Your residence can be anywhere you want it to be. Out there in the middle of the field on the piece of ground you're standing on, that could be your residence. Congress passed the Voting Rights Bill on August 5th, 1965. Almost 100 years after the 15th Amendment. That's a lot. What happened during those 100 years to get to this? Many of our people died. I would say in the thousands. In the thousands. They still hanging people in Mississippi. They are still doing it. White people, I don't give a damn how many you standing out there saying that they've changed. These are not the ones who did it, but these are the ones who benefit from the money that they stole from us, the land that they stole from us. The white people today are the ones benefiting from what their ancestors did. I don't give a damn if you weren't back there. I wasn't back there either. But look at my status and look at yours. Black people make $27,000 on an average in the United States of America, and white people make $140,000 on average in America. Ain't that some shit? Look at the disparity between the two. And you know why. I know why. They had what, 350 a year head start before we even learn what the hell the whole currency system is. But look how fast and how quickly we've almost caught up. It'll take another 50 years and we'll pass them. But look how far we have come in 40, 50 years since the Civil War ended, 1865. That ain't been that long ago now. That ain't been that long. We've come a long damn way. But some people, which are the people of today, it ain't the damn ancestors, it's the people today, are still putting roadblocks in front of us, stopping us from being the best that we can be. How many times have you been told, this is your yearly evaluation, but we're going to leave room for you to grow. We're going to leave room for you to get better. So we're not going to rate you at the highest marks because you need room to grow. Fuck that shit. That's bullshit. Don't allow them to belittle you by telling you you are not at the max of that damn rating. They're not your judge. They can't say how much more improvement you need. Don't let them feed you that bullshit, because that's all it is. You don't deserve to sit there and let a white man tell you that you are inadequate. And that's what you're doing if you're sitting there. You're letting that man tell you you are inadequate to be at the top of your game. And you accept that shit? I done told so many white folks I ain't signing that shit in my life. They try to marginalize me. That's bullshit. You don't do that. God does that. You don't allow them people to treat you like that. President Johnson signed into law the next day, outlawed literacy tests, and provided for the appointment of federal examiners with the power to register qualified citizens to vote. So if it wasn't for this no good ass President Johnson doing what he did it because of the riots. He did it because of the pushback they were getting from black people. Now, black people were getting mad as hell. And every time black people start to go on a road and get that big ball of rolling where they're fighting every damn thing that's coming down the pipe, they're fighting it and they're gaining momentum every step of the way and getting more people involved, the government comes out with a damn lollipop or pacifier, like the damn, the Juneteenth holiday. Who in their right mind was thinking about a freaking Juneteenth holiday doing the murder of people like George Floyd or Ahmaud Arbery? Who thinking about that shit? Nobody. Sonia Massey was the latest victim of a dumbass white cop. And, cops try to come back and say, we're not that bad. We just have bad times. We just got one bad apple. It's almost like every police officer, it's 18,000 police forces in America. All of them are sovereign in their own right. Now, here it is, us having to deal with 18,000 police departments. Now, I'm not counting the counties and the state troopers and all that shit. It's too many of them. It's one for one, probably, that many people they paying. They need to reduce that shit because the country is not that damn bad. They over police our areas and try and intimidate us and scare us into complying with their bullshit, because that's all it is. You don't have to be in your house at 9 o'clock if you have authenticated your birth certificate. But if you haven't, you better get your ass in the house. Because if you've authenticated your birth certificate and signed your nationality documents, took the oath of amnesty, a curfew don't touch you. A martial law don't touch you because you have dual citizenship. And you can prove that you have dual citizenship and when they try and enforce this on you. Now, I'm gonna give you a case in point where you can outsmart the law and they can't do shit about it. When COVID came out on whatever year, but it was in March, whatever year, they closed everything down. About 2, 3 weeks later, they said, all right, we're going to allow restaurants to reopen. I had a bar at the time. About a month before that, I had went down to the city and turned my bar into a restaurant. Paid the money, did the paperwork, got the certificate for a restaurant, and I had posted it right by my front door. You would not believe how many times they tried to shut me down because they thought they had the power. They didn't have shit because they couldn't come in my place unless I allowed them in there. And the only time they did come in is when they raided us. They can't park a vehicle on your property. None of that. I got 14 citations from the city of San Antonio. 14. And 14 citations got dismissed. Every single one was dismissed. But in the meantime, while these racist ass officers were writing me citations, old ladies were getting mugged and killed on the other side of town when they over policing our side of town. That's everywhere. And they identify us by Martin Luther King Boulevard. So let's say we had a big riot and they couldn't quell it, they couldn't put it down. They know the boundaries that the black folks gonna be in. Well, this is Martin Luther King, so we know they stop right here, or this is in the heart of the black neighborhood. So let's drop that shit right there. If you don't think they drop bombs on you, move up to Tulsa, Oklahoma, on Jackson Square, and see what the hell happened there. They dropped bombs on those people. They burned every building down to the ground. Now they done took the land and put a damn baseball stadium there, and they still have not compensated a single person from Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street. They have not. You see the names of everybody that lived there when they raided the place. And it's all over bullshit because we're smarter than them, and they hate it. The only thing they can do is outgun us and outman us and outlaw us because they can break the law and get away with it, but we can't. If we broke the law, we're going to get hung and burned. These people are so damn low. They drug this one man out of prison. They burned him alive, and he wasn't dead. He didn't die. They put a rope around his neck and hung him while he was still alive. So I don't know if he died when they hung him, but they took him off of that rope and put him back in the fire. This is a human being now. A human being, our blood the same as theirs. They burned him, they hung him, they burned him again, and they dismembered his body and took parts home. Parts of a human being body, they took it home. Now, you cannot find a people that ain't more terrible than those people. And you trying to tell me they don't live today? There was a hanging in Mississippi last week. Yeah, they still there. The Klan is still meeting. The Proud Boys are ready because they go to the range all the damn time. You're sitting back. You don't have bullets. You don't have guns. You think you're going to beat off a burglar with a broomstick when the burglar got guns. Wake the fuck up. And excuse me for using an F-bomb, but it's the damn truth. Wake up. This shit is real. They stormed the capital of the United States. That's not the capital of Texas or shit like that. That's the capital of the United States. They stormed it. and you won't vote. You look at all this political shit going on, and they try to beat it into you that race don't matter. But now that Kamala Harris is the vice president of the United States and running for president, now race is a matter. Oh, is she Indian? She was black yesterday. That's all they got, man. Look at what you hear from the Republicans. All bullshit. No substance to what they say. Everything they say is a personal attack on something or somebody. But when it comes to policy, laying out a future for America, where is it? You don't hear a damn thing. They want to talk about people. They want to belittle people. They want to talk about race. But before that, they were telling us as citizens or so-called citizens of America that race don't matter anymore, so we can get rid of the affirmative action program. Oh, but in the classroom, don't talk about slavery because the critical race theory shit is there. And if you do, we're going to fire you and then prosecute you. We don't want our little boys and girls to know that we are that dirty. We did this shit that's in the books right now. But they need to know. They need to know because they're going to grow up not knowing how treacherous their grandparents and great-grandparents were. And we are going to let them because we think it's all going to be all right. I'm going to tell you right now, this country will never end capital, E capital, B capital, E capital, R capital. They will never accept you as an equal. Once you get that through your head, you can make it in this country. But as long as you don't realize that, they're going to get your ass. Look at the black people that serve us in Washington, D.C. Let's start at the Supreme Court. Clarence Thomas, Ketanji Jackson. Clarence Thomas, white wife. Ketanji Jackson, white husband. Kamala Harris, white husband. What black woman you know served in our United States government married to a black man or vice versa? What black man you know in our government married to a black woman? My point is, look at what America does. They select and they nitpick and they pull this and pull that and they get the ones that they want and they tell them what you need to do to get here and they do it and without a damn doubt. They rather have power over their personality and character. They want power. Power is the ticket in America. And you don't have any power because you have not claimed the power that you can claim. You have, look at the Liberty Bell. What does the Liberty Bell have engraved on the side? It has Leviticus 25:10. Look at it in the Bible. Leviticus 25:10 is engraved on the Liberty Bell. Basically, it's telling you that they have to give us our property back. Now, when the Emancipation Proclamation was issued, and there's a clause in there that says you got 50 years to get these black people off your plantations and into the world. So that made it from 1865 to 1910, I believe. So by 1910, constitutes that 50 years, you had to be reinvested of what you were divested of. You had to be given back your property, your family, your heritage, that goes beyond the Civil War. Your heritage didn't stop at when the Civil War ended. Think about it now. How can slavery stop you from being who you really are deep down inside? I could beat you so much until you start doing what I want you to do, but deep down in your mind, that ain't you. But today, we look around here, we see all these people trying to assimilate into their culture. The only culture we gonna survive in is our own damn culture. Get them fuckers out of our damn city. We need our own shit. And then they're gonna get jealous of that and try to take that too. Because over 20, 30, maybe even 40 establishments, black communities in the country were up and booming without them doing anything, staying the hell away from us. We were successful. We were teaching our own kids. We were growing our own food. We were running our own supermarkets. We had our own doctors, our own movie theaters. We had our own shit. But every time we get our own shit moving like that, here they come, bombing the shit out of us, breaking it down, killing everybody. And it's all based on a white devil. Because you looked at a white woman in the eye, you ass getting dead. They're going to unalive you. So President Johnson outlawed this literacy test and all the other stuff that they were trying to do, and by putting in federal examiners. And these federal examiners went down to the South, and their job was to register black people to vote. This was after they killed Medgar Evers, by the way. So that's how so many black people were registered to vote, because the federal government made it happen in these states. They sent people into the states to do it. And when they got registered, black people voted. And when black people voted, black people won political positions all over the country. So up in, is it North Carolina or Philadelphia? It's one of those northern cities up in that area, north of Washington, D.C. Had about 15 or 20 black people to get into Congress and the House of Representatives. And the white folks got jealous of that. So they went up there and made those black people abandon those positions. Now, they couldn't go in there and just take it and throw them out. The people that were in those positions had to abandon those positions for them to take those positions. Many of the people that you see in Congress today are the very same people that were there when they gave you the minimalist rights that you can possibly give. We can't give them much now. You know how these niggers act. We can't give them much. We're going to give them this much. And that's going to be it. We're not going to give them much more than that. And then when you get rowdy and angry, they give you the Juneteenth celebration. The 15th Amendment applied a nationwide prohibition on the denial of abridgment of the right to vote on account of race or color. You know, you can see that 100 times in our Constitution, race or color, because it will always be prevalent in our country. You will always, your race will always play a part in how much money you make, where you live, and you know it. Don't damn act like you don't know it. You know you've moved, you getting the money now, so you moved into a white neighborhood thinking you got it now. And then what do? You see all these for sale signs all around the neighborhood because they're getting the hell out because they can see black people moving in. You've seen it. I've seen it 10, 12 times in every state. It's everywhere. There right now, there's not one totally black community in America, in continental America. Now there's one on the East Coast, just one, like Africa Town, I think. But when you come west of the Mississippi, you ain't gonna find nothing like that. Nothing, because we are not allowed to have our own shit, and we accept that as okay. We accept it. We don't do anything about it. In 2013, the court struck down a key provision of the act involving federal oversight of voting rules in 9 states. In other words, they moved those examiners out and said they couldn't register people to vote anymore. 9 states did that. If you don't know how it is to be discriminated against, I can't really tell you, but I can give you some places to look, and it's easy to see. Look at the movie The Django. Look at the movie Mississippi Burning, and there are plenty more, but those are the two that I stick in my head that I know are super super informative about how Black folks are treated. Just this year, the affirmative action was pulled, and for those of you who don't know what that means no longer does an institution in America have a requirement to hire Black people. We already 350 years behind, so the affirmative action program gave us at least that benefit when we are this far behind. Y'all having all this time, and some of y'all still screwed up. Y'all had all this time to be further along than us, and you still screwed up. And we done surpassed millions of you. Black people are smart, very smart. So all I'm saying is, take your time, look at the situation, and don't be in denial about the truth. And you see it, you know it. Tell me a Black-led organization in this country where Black people are employed. You can't, because there are none. And if it is, it's so far in the backwoods, you got to dig to find it. You can't find it. There's so much going on here that we are not paying attention to. These militant organizations, and I only can think of the Proud Boys, but I guarantee you there's probably 15 more. And the FBI job, now this is where the FBI come in. They plant moles in all these organizations. The same with motorcycle organizations. They plant moles, and the mole, the person who reports back to the FBI what's going on. All this is undercover. People think they're so damn slick. They can do this, they can do that. So many damn agents got killed all over the world. They do this stuff. And they do it because they think other people are dumb. And all this Israel stuff, I'm not going to even go there, because it's our taxpayer money, but we have no say-so in where you put it. The people sitting in our Senate today have been there for a long time. They're dropping like flies. And it's a fight to get those positions. My hope would be that they move those people out and put some new blood in there. Just like Kamala Harris becoming the president of the United States, it ain't about her color. What it's about is her policies. Don't ever let people tell you as a Black person that you have made it. You're successful. Because if you're successful, that means you're complacent. And that means your kids, your children, if you have any, will come along and they will have to work twice as hard because you didn't solidify your position in life for them. You should take a bullet if you have to make shit right. In Austin, Texas, they laid off 60 black people, or well, black people, people of color. That's the new damn catchphrase now. But black people, I want to make sure you understand that you should not allow yourself to be mingled with Haitians, with Jamaicans, with Africans. You are a descendant of slaves. That's it. And they are not. They came to America because they wanted to. We came to America because they forced us to. So that's a big difference there. So we should be treated differently. There should be some honor and respect placed on my name because the US of A ain't got no doubt that we did what we say we did. And you saw us do it. But we've instilled so much doubt in our people that we can't do shit by ourselves that we end up not getting out of this little vicious circle of allowing them to control you. They try very hard to control you, and they control you. And you know, I ain't saying nobody should quit a job that they have, but just be aware that these things are going on. And many of the people that you work with or work for are part of these damn militia groups. They're part of it. There were some from Texas that went up there on January 6th and got put in jail behind it. So that's not something that we should accept in America. All we need to do is register to vote. There's a certain kind of people that our federal government wants as to keep in the service area. In other words, to keep on the lowest part of the stratification system for a reason. And how do you keep people down to minimalist, bottom of the barrel type people, underprivileged type people? How do you ensure that you got a population of underclass people? Now that sounds so damn vulgar. That I mean, you don't believe nobody would ever think of something like that. A whole class of underclass people? Hell yeah. That's what they say. Because those underclass people are the very people that they need in these service jobs. They need them to clean the hospitals. They need them to work at McDonald's. They need them in all the fast food industries, all the restaurants, and as cooks and maintenance people and cleaners. They need that level of people to maintain the status that they have in America. Because when them white folks start making $350,000, $400,000, they gonna get a maid, and it might be an illegal one because they are still running illegal people through this country. And San Antonio is one of the biggest hubs in the world for migrants transition. You hit San Antonio, you can go anywhere from there. You can go north, you can go south, you can go east, and you can go west. And you're going to go in one of those directions as an immigrant, and you're going to get as far away from here as you can. And you find yourself in the middle of the country in these no-name cities, and you end up, you go there with money because you done paid some money to make it this far. Everywhere you stop, you got to pay. to get to the next stop. You got to pay. Everybody got to pay. And if you don't pay, shit happens till you don't make it to your destination. You really don't have a destination. You want to go where you can be accepted, and nobody's gonna question your citizenship. That's where you want to go. Think about it. In my little hometown, every store was owned by Chinese. Now here it is, all these black, 3,000 black folks. It was a small town, maybe 1,000 white folks, but it was way more black people. But every store, grocery store, liquor store, any kind of store, clothing store, was ran by Chinese. And my biggest question as a child, how did these people get here and get more than I got? And I grew up here. It's like the next day that you see them, they done popped up out of nowhere. Look at the damn industries out here in America. And all I'm doing is bringing up little incidents that people are not paying attention to, but it's happening underneath our noses and we're missing it. Every single hotel you go to today, I'll put money on it that an Indian is in there running it, living in that hotel. That's right. An Indian is in that hotel. Every 7-Eleven, Quick Stop, Shell, Valero, I ain't gonna say Valeros, but that's white. But the off-brand things that are not Texas origin, you got Indians running that too. How in the world can every Indian get a store in the black community? Every store, and it ain't a store, it's a place to buy beer, which is their biggest seller, and drug paraphernalia. And you got an Indian back there behind the plexiglass acting like you're gonna steal something. Then you got Indians selling black people more hair than they sell anybody in the world. Why do black people buy all this hair from these ungrateful F's in America? We should shut them all down. Need to boycott them. Don't give them your money. Don't stop. If an Indian's running that place, go to the next one. Not that your little dollar may make a difference, but it's a start. You do it, then here comes another one, here comes another one, and eventually we all will be doing that. And that property will now go back to its rightful owners, which are black people. We don't own that shit now. You can go anywhere in America and you very rarely gonna see black people doing anything but a barbecue shack, a damn club, a nightclub, a barber shop, or a beauty shop. What else do we have? That's it, right? Barbershop, beauty shop, barbecue shop. That's it. Why is it we cannot expand ourselves outside of that little circle of business over the last 100 years? We cannot get past that little circle of businesses and get into the halt building caterpillars or doing a major make-ready business for construction sites or holding a prime contract with a city. None of that. Nobody allows us to climb that ladder the way we know we can. Now, some people, black people, can maneuver their way through it, and when the white folks look up, the black folks got that shit and gone. Some of us can do that, but you can do it, but they don't like your ass one bit because you done outsmarted them too deep. You done took the contract, millions of dollars. That's the only way. But if they see you in a corporate job and you just constantly getting promoted. And eventually somebody gonna say, damn, this black man here is about to make more money than me. We're gonna have to stop him from being that uppity nigga. That's what they say. And I've been called that before, an uppity nigga. They still use that shit. They think they can yell at you. They think they can say slick things to you and laugh like jokes and about black people and get you to laughing with them. If you ever laugh with somebody white telling a black joke, I wish I saw you. I'll slap your ass because you might beat me to death, but I'll slap the hell out you because that ain't something you should be doing. You don't. That ain't you. And your nationality is more important than gold. And right now, black people, descendants of slaves, don't have a nationality. You know, white people do in America. What's your nationality? It's American. We're not Americans. We're Africans in America, descendants of Africans in America, and we don't have a nationality. So one thing that you can do, it's a process, but I recommend it to anybody wanting to get out from under the dumb shit that the police do. Because once you change your status, it changes across the country in every city, in every major operation computer. Your status has changed. You have to get it done at the federal level, not at the state level, the federal level. And then when you do it at the federal level, your information, whatever it may be, will reflect that you are a dual citizen. Dual citizen. You take the oath of amnesty, and that oath of amnesty gives you citizenship, true citizenship in America. And it also gives you the authorization to file the paperwork to have another a dual citizenship. My dual citizenship is Morocco and the US of A. You can do that too, but it took me a year to do it. You can do it too. You have to start at the basics though, and that you hear that shit all the time. We're throwing it around. You gotta authenticate. You gotta authenticate. Now the purpose for this is when you're born in America, within 15 days in the state of Texas, within 15 days, you have to fill out your birth certificate document. And I think you pay for it too. And that document, and if you really read the fine print of that document, it's going to tell you that the state has authority over this child. And the state can take this child from you if need be. And the state can register this child as a potential Army candidate if they choose, because the state owns your children. It owns everybody with a birth certificate that have never authenticated their birth certificate. And you authenticate your birth certificate in Texas for what, $15 maybe? Basically, you send it to the Secretary of State, they send you a document back. Once you get that document back from the state, you put that document with the application for the federal, and you send the state along with the application to the federal, and it costs you about $20. Weeks later, that paperwork will come back. Now you are no longer a ward of the state. You don't belong to your state anymore. And that puts you in a different category when the police stop you. Because they always say, are you driving? You're never driving, you're traveling. The only law, now I'm gonna say this, but I'm gonna show you how it works. The only law on any public road is commercial law for traveling. There's no law for privately owned vehicle traveling on the road, but they figure nobody knows this. So what they do, they apply the commercial codes, the commercial laws to your privately owned vehicle, and they get you to sign it, and you can go to court and they will dismiss it every single time. You may have to pay court fee, but you don't have to pay that damn ticket, and you don't lose points on your driver's license. Fight it. Sign it. When the police tell you to sign it, sign it. There's too many of us getting shot by doing dumb shit, by wanting to fight with these guys. You ain't got no damn backup. They got as much backup as they need. And if you notice, the police will escalate till they got over 100 some cops in one area. Like, think about Robb Elementary School here in Texas. All those police officers, and they heard shots in the classroom. 3 to 5 shots were administered after the police were in the hall. And they stood there. They stood there. And their job is to protect and serve. So if you get stopped, ensure that you do a few things I'm going to tell you. One, put both hands on the steering wheel. You don't want to get that damn cop excited. And he's going to stand behind you. So you got to do this to see him. Don't do that. Just keep your head that way, because he know damn well you can't look back there and see him. You're going to look stupid trying to turn your head back. So don't do it. And if he wants to talk to you, he's going to have to come around and face you so he can hear you. But if you don't turn your head, you're within your right not to do so. He has to come around and accommodate you. Maybe on the other side of the car, but you ain't got to turn your head, because that's ridiculous. But that's what they teach them, is to stand right behind your left shoulder and force you to turn. People do it on their own. You don't have to be trying to look at the police officer, what you're looking at him for. If you are for sure that that's a legitimate stop that they are putting on you, and you know that's a police officer instead of a fake cop, because these white boys try that shit too. Security guards trying to yell and holler at you. The damn bounty hunters try to yell and holler at you like they police officers. You bust a cap in their ass, I bet they'll go home. They have no jurisdiction and no right and no authority in the Texas Penal Code to do what they do, unless you are a sworn officer of the law, and unless you possess this class that they call, my name for it is T-Close. It's TCLOSE or something like that. You have to have that class, and you have to be a sworn officer, in other words, to practice what they do as a state trooper or whomever. Those are the things that keep us safe. And the worst thing that's happening in our community right now is that we have failed to unify. If we start unifying, and we got an organization for every damn thing. The black people got more damn nonprofits. They got more damn sororities, more damn fraternities, more damn organizations. I mean, you could probably put together 150 organizations right here in San Antonio, and they all operate on a shoestring budget. Some may be in the big money, but most of 99% of these organizations are struggling day to day to get where they need to go. and they're robbing Peter to pay Paul. And we, as poor people, put our money into these organizations. And when we do that, it really gives us pride. But there are too many. But just imagine if all the nonprofits that do food banks come together, if all the nonprofits that do back to school stuff come together, once they don't have to do it for one time. Somebody have to coordinate. If all the bars, black bars, come together and have an understanding on how you're gonna operate, if any industry in this city that black people are managing come together with like businesses and not think that somebody gonna screw you, because that's the first thing we think, somebody gonna screw it. Maybe so, but the more you give, the more you receive. This is the Black News Network, the real voice of Black USA, broadcasting live from a Black perspective. Now, the purpose of the Black News Network is to give you this information or refresh this information in your mind, because I'm sure you know most of the stuff I've said, but if you don't, I hope you learned something today. And this is every Wednesday at 6:30. It's just a talk. It ain't a class. It ain't no dictatorship. It ain't none of that shit. It's me talking to you. You know, one thing I pride myself on is that I will not go to my grave without trying to spit everything out first, because people die all the time, and they die with so much information that could be beneficial to the next person that it's a damn shame. I'm talking about black people, because this ain't no easy journey living in America. This is some bullshit. This is hell. And especially if you're down there chopping cotton still, picking cucumbers, doing dumb shit like that. It's unfreaking believable how poverty does a family. You eating ramen noodles 7 days a week. That's sad. And then you want to send billions of dollars over to Ukraine and then bring 200,000 Ukrainians over here to America because they white. Build up the white populations secretly. And they say 200,000, but I bet it's about 1,000,000. It's about 1,000,000. There are no black people in Ukraine. There are Africans over there, but no black people. And everybody now got this big thing about go to Africa and you can live like this. Don't believe the hype. Don't sell out everything you got and just pack up and move before you go over there and spend about a month looking around, finding the right spot for you. And it's expensive to get moved over there. A round trip ticket gonna cost you about $4,500 unless you buy it 3 years out. It's still gonna cost a lot. So don't fall for the okie doke, black people. My concern is about black people. I don't give a damn what white people think about it, because I'm gonna talk it and I'll say it to them too. And I hope you get to the point where you'll do the same. See you again on Sunday at 3:30, broadcasting live from the Black News Network. Looking forward to you being there. And I'll leave you with this. America has disenfranchised the majority of, not the majority, but many of our people here in this country. It made us below poverty, and keeping us below poverty so we can fill those servitude positions. Now they say all this shit in the Constitution that we don't want this shit no more. But everybody that's way over that threshold, that $500,000 a year threshold, they got it. Why is it that everybody in Congress rich? They're living off that old money, off that was made off of your back, my ancestors' back. Get in touch with your ancestors. Find out where you came from. Because it's a sad thing when you don't know who you are and don't know the power and the strength that you have. You could be the descendant of one of the best person that came up 100 years ago. You don't know because you don't take the time to research your ancestry. And this bullshit you send blood, your swab to these people or that people, that ain't gonna give you that shit ain't telling you nothing. You got 10% Oriental, you got 5% Irish. Who I don't give a fuck about none of that. I want to know who I am, where I come from. So don't waste your money. If you're gonna do the research, you do the research, and it's available if you put it together. Information is out there. We will see you next week. Thank you so much for attending the Black News Network. And don't forget, Sunday, 3:30.